Sandman.
Greetings friends. In this video I will tell you about a legendary creature from Algonquian mythology, also known as Wendigo. The Wendigo is a mythical creature that originates from the folklore of various Algonquian-speaking Native American tribes, including the Ojibwe, the Cree, and others. Though descriptions can vary across different tribes, the Wendigo is generally understood to be a malevolent, cannibalistic spirit that possesses human beings and drives them to insatiable greed, murder, and cannibalism. The Wendigo legend arose among Algonquian tribes in the northern forests of North America, where harsh winters and scarce game could push people to extreme hunger, even cannibalism. According to legend, those who resorted to eating human flesh would become possessed by an evil spirit, the Wendigo. Once possessed, a person would become a Wendigo themselves, a monster with an insatiable hunger for human flesh, and imbued with supernatural strength and speed to hunt its prey. The Wendigo is most often described as a towering, emaciated humanoid creature with ash-gray skin pulled tightly over its bones. It has long, gnarled limbs ending in sharp talons, and a head reminiscent of a deer skull, with long antlers branching from its skull. Its lips are tattered and bloody from eating human flesh, and its eyes are said to burn bright red. The Wendigo is said to emit a disturbing, raspy howl that evokes both the moan of wind through the trees and the anguished, tortured screams of its victims. Myths tell that the Wendigo roams the forests of the north during cold, harsh winters, when food is most scarce. It is said to have an insatiable hunger for human flesh. The creature is constantly ravaged by starvation, driving it to seek out camps and villages to prey upon humans. It is imbued with supernatural speed, strength, and endurance, allowing it to easily overtake human prey. Some legends even depict Wendigos as being impervious to conventional weapons, only able to be killed by fire or a silver blade. The Wendigo spirit is said to possess people during times of weakness, turning them violent and mad with the desire to cannibalize. According to myth, those who succumb to eating human flesh invite the Wendigo spirit into their bodies. The more flesh they consume, the stronger the possession becomes, until they are transformed into Wendigos themselves, monstrous creatures of the forest consumed by greed and hunger for human flesh. One of the most famous Wendigo legends among the Algonquian tribes tells the story of a warrior named Swift Runner. During a particularly brutal winter when food was scarce, Swift Runner resorted to cannibalism to survive, killing and eating members of his own family. He was transformed into a monstrous Wendigo, and fled into the wilderness. According to myth, the only way to kill a Wendigo is to track it back to the place its heart resides deep in the forest. There, it must be melted with fire or stabbed through the heart with a silver blade. However, death does not release the Wendigo's evil spirit. It is said to linger in the area, waiting for a chance to possess another vulnerable soul and unleash its ravenous hunger once more. The Wendigo legend served as a parable among Native American tribes, warning against selfishness, greed, and cannibalism. Stories of Wendigo possessions reinforced the taboo against cannibalism, discouraged murder and theft, and encouraged sharing resources. During times of famine, recalling the Wendigo reminded people not to succumb to greed or desperation. In contemporary Native American culture, the Wendigo persists as a metaphor for greed and consumption without need. Characters based on the Wendigo have appeared in Native American novels and films as a symbol of the dangers of greed and overindulgence. The Wendigo legend continues to provoke discussion about ethics, addiction, and spiritual corruption. Though rooted in Algonquian myth, the Wendigo legend spread through settler culture as native territories were colonized. Accounts of alleged Wendigo possessions and sightings can be found in settler diaries as early as the 1700s. The Wendigo began to take on new meaning in settler legends, sometimes used to demonize native cultures. The Wendigo mythos greatly expanded in the late 1800s and early 1900s as anthropologists recorded traditional Native American legends for academic study. Increased public and academic interest resulted in the Wendigo becoming a pervasive figure in American pop culture, fiction, and film. In literature, the Wendigo has been featured as a horror monster in stories by Algernon Blackwood, Howard Lovecraft, Stephen King, and others. These depictions often stray from the original Native American legends, presenting the Wendigo as a terrifying cryptid or colossal beast stalking the forest. Films like Wendigo, 2001, and television shows like Supernatural and Charmed have also popularized the Wendigo as a grotesque, deer-skulled creature associated with murder and cannibalism. Though the Wendigo of pop culture evokes Native American traditions, these depictions are typically removed from the complex cultural context of the original legends. Stripped of deeper meaning, the iconic Wendigo is often used as a generic monster representing the dangers of the wild, uncontrollable hunger, or a violent loss of humanity. However, many contemporary Native American artists and authors have reclaimed the Wendigo myth, returning to its roots as a morally complex metaphor for greed and consumption. These works emphasize the Wendigo not just as a frightening monster, but as a spiritual corruption that continues to plague modern society. No matter how the legend evolves, at its core the Wendigo remains a disturbing symbol of the human capacity for selfishness and evil. The horrors of the Wendigo remind us that we all have darkness within, and without vigilance and compassion, we risk succumbing to our own monster within. The Wendigo endures as a cautionary tale, warning us to respect nature and each other, lest we unleash the beast.